it with you. Me too. Rock, paper, scissors. Haha, I won. Oh no, I lost. One of the most infamous Dragon Ball games. Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi betrayed many people's expectations, but when you think about it, this game had massive potential. I always had the feeling that this game could be so different and so beloved at the same time. So much so that I decided to talk about this game. So where did this game go so wrong? Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi was developed by Spike and came out in October 2011 for the West and December 2011 for Japan. I just found this out, but Ultimate Tenkaichi in Japan is called Ultimate Blast. This game wasn't initially going to be called Ultimate Tenkaichi, as there was a contest from Weekly Shonen Jump to decide on the name of this game. The choices were Dragon Ball Z, Tenkaichi Z, Saiyan Rising, Awakening Saiyans, Ultimate Tenkaichi, and Saiyan Warriors. Those were the choices for the Western names. It seems like Japan didn't have a name vote, so I guess they were purely going with what was decided in the West and changed the name a bit for Japan. Some of those names are strange, like why are there 3 options for something that has to do with Saiyan? I guess they wanted the people to choose the one with the Saiyan name. I guess it was a 3/5 chance that someone would choose it, right? Ultimately, no pun intended, the name that was chosen was Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi. While I was reading through the development part in Wikipedia, it sounded like this game had a lot of promise and hype. But oh, how wrong were the people who were genuinely hyped for this game. I don't want to get right into the gameplay just yet, even though this segment is called gameplay. I actually want to praise the game a bit before I start going on a rant. Many of us already know this game is flawed, but I want to take away the negative energy for a second and show off the good of this game. So first of all, this game is really stunning for a PS3 game. If you watch my worst DBZ game era video, you would know I actually prefer this look over the Raging Blast graphics. If you didn't know, Spike made the Budokai Tenkaichi and Raging Blast series. And many people consider this to be part of the Budokai Tenkaichi series for some reason. I don't. But funnily enough, this game looks more like the Budokai Tenkaichi games in terms of its art style. Characters feel a lot more blocky. Characters don't blend into the environment like in Raging Blast, and the lighting is really good compared to the Raging Blast games. This game also has some really cool environmental destruction features too, which makes it one of the best Dragon Ball games graphically, in my opinion at least. Another cool thing this game did was the ability to make your own character. You use them in a mode called Hero Mode. This is some sort of alternate story mode where you're a male Saiyan for some reason, and you set out to pretty much defeat Omega Shenron. This mode is weird, but the fact that a whole new story was made with the addition of making your own character is pretty cool. However, in terms of that mode, that's as far as the praise can go. The story mode is pretty similar to Budokai 3 and Budokai Tenkaichi 2 with the fact that you can fly around to the location of the battle. I always found this type of thing cool in Dragon Ball games. A funny thing about this story mode is, when it comes to the giant boss battles, the combat becomes a bit similar to the Raging Blast and Budokai Tenkaichi games. No weird rock paper scissors mechanics. There are some quick time events in the battles too, and those are pretty fun. I would say that's probably one of the only good things to come out of the story mode. Well, that and the fact that this game reanimated a bunch of Dragon Ball anime moments. I don't know why, but some of the key moments were actually reanimated to look a lot more modern than what already exists. It's like the plan to eradicate the Saiyan's OVA in Raging Blast 2. Who knows, maybe with the new Budokai Tenkaichi game, if Spike Chunsoft is developing it, we may just see a whole reanimated Dragon Ball series. And while we're at it, we may get a character creation mode. Okay, I'm done with praising the game. The majority of the rest of this video will now be negative. So what's up with the combat in this game? Anyone who's played this game and is sane would understand what I meant. Matches are unironically as long as a match against 2 Soras in Smash. For anyone who doesn't play Smash, that means they're pretty long. Why'd I even use that simile? This game is pretty much a rock paper scissors simulator. You have 2 types of combo strings in this game, either light or heavy combos. You'd pretty much mash square or triangle until this screen shows, and then the person who started the combo has to choose an option and hope the other person doesn't choose the same option. If they did choose the same option as you, then the opponent will counterattack. Do that like 20 more times and imagine that's game. You actually can't use ki blasts unless you're far from the opponent in a free range mode. And if you want to do supers, you'll have to choose the opposite option from the opponent, just like when you do the combo strings. Now here's something funny, you can charge up ki, but the ki isn't for the supers, they're for this weird UI right here. What this is a counter mechanic for supers. So when your opponent uses a super, you have 3 counter options, and they're available depending on how much ki you have. This does sound pretty complicated, but I assure you, this game is so much easier to play than you think. Wait, that's actually a pretty good point. This game is actually really casual now that I think about it, so you actually don't need a lot of skill to be able to play this game. Well, I guess that's one good thing about this game's combat. The fact that anyone can start playing this game with no real difficulty is actually somewhat appealing. But after maybe 2 games, you would probably get bored of this game since nothing interesting really happens within these matches. There are a lot more characters than I thought in this game. The reason why I'm surprised is because just look at these models. I don't know how they made these models, but they're not close at all to the Raging Blast ones. In fact, these just look so much better than that game. There is no way they made these within a year, as Raging Blast 2 came out the year before this game. Well, that doesn't matter now. This game brought back GT characters, but only 2 of them, Omega Shenron and Gogeta Super Saiyan 4. Sadly, there are no Dragon Ball characters and the other characters are all Dragon Ball Z characters. There are also a lot more stages than I thought, meaning the developers had to make battle damage for every one of these stages. To say that the developers put the bare minimum in this game is far from true. On top of all these characters and stages, there are also the giant characters for the boss fights in the story mode, the custom character in the hero mode, and the map in both hero mode and story mode. There was so much put into this game that it really sucks that this game leaves such a sour taste to Dragon Ball fans. Speaking of hero mode, when I was doing research for this game, I learned that it was promised that there would be a full character creation included in this game, but all we have is the option to choose from 3 male Saiyan types. What happened between that announcement and this game's release? This game's music is awesome. It has the Sonic treatment where the gameplay may not be the best, but the music sure is. However, I do have a complaint with the music in this game. If you play versus mode, the song will never just stay one song. What I mean is, when you're choosing the song, it will always be in a set of other songs. So the song just changes during the match. That is one of the oddest music features I've ever seen in a game. Like, just leave it as one song. Anyways, my favorite song is tough to choose, but I'll go with Edge of Spirit. The funny thing is, this is a song name in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. There's another song called Heat Capacity, which is another song in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I wonder if that was a nod to those songs or just a genuine mistake. Who knows? I won't go over the normal story in this game because that's just the Dragon Ball Z story with some movie stories as well. If you want to know it, just watch Dragon Ball Z. But I've mentioned the inclusion of another mode, Hero Mode. I actually never finished this story because it's somewhat confusing. Then again, when I played this game, I was probably around 9 to 10 years old. Man, was I really that old in 2012? So the story starts off with your character fighting Captain Ginyu and him giving you a Dragon Ball. You fight Android 17 and 18 and get 2 Dragon Balls from them alongside the Dragon Radar. You find Piccolo and he tells you that Ultimate Shenron was made from a wish to torture the Earth. You soon find out that the person in charge of that wish was Omega Shenron. You beat Omega Shenron, you get all 7 Dragon Balls, and you make a wish to undo Omega Shenron's damage. Yeah, this story actually sucks. It clearly sounds rushed if anything. Well, at least we got Xenoverse not too long after this game, right? To my surprise, this game was given decent reviews by game critics. That's why critics are never the type of people you want to trust when it comes to reviews. I'm not a critic, I'm just a fan that makes videos on stuff I'm interested on. There are a lot of things done well in this game if anything. The only thing they fumbled on is the game part. This is supposed to be a game, meaning it's meant to be something fun. This game was not fun, but it really had so much potential to be fun. I could only imagine how much better this game would have been if it had the same combat style to a game like Raging Blast or Budokai Tenkaichi with these graphics and details. That would truly be the ultimate Tenkaichi game. Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi was a pretty disappointing game. It's pretty hard to find anyone who actually enjoys this game. But if you do, that's great. At least you can enjoy something I have a hard time enjoying. I don't recall spending too much time on this game as a kid, or really ever. I do remember, however, me watching the reanimated cutscenes over and over again. This game was going on the right tracks, but decisions here and there ended up making this game fall on its own tracks. It sucks to see this game have such a poor reputation in the Dragon Ball community. Well, the only chance of redemption for Spike Chunsoft is to make the next Budokai Tenkaichi beyond expectations. And believe me, expectations are at an all-time high for this game. So that game has to be the best ever. For now though, I'm gonna go practice my rock, paper, scissors skills.